Heart First leadership isn't what you say, it's how you show up, how you regulate, how you communicate, and how you execute when it matters most. We are Heidi and Ryan Sawyer, and you are listening to the Heart First Leadership Podcast.
Welcome to the Integrated Mindset Podcast. I am Ryan Sawyer, your co-host.
And with Heidi Sawyer.
I like how you're leaning down into the mic today.
Can you hear me now?
Check 1, 2. Checking 1, 2. I almost started auctioneering. That wouldn't make any sense right now. How's everybody doing?
This is the
Thank
book.
you for joining us. And we are doing, this is the book, she says. We're doing the 15 Commitments of Conscious Leadership. We are on commitment number 10. And we are excited about where we are because we're excited about working through this book. It's been transformational. We got some incredible feedback from people enjoying the conversation, enjoying the book and the impact it's making on the lives to bring awareness to this concept of how to live above the line. Today, we're going to talk about exploring the opposite. And I will uncover something that I believe was like, I'll talk about it in a minute, let you introduce it, but it completely opened my mind, I think, as much as anything, if not more than anything. So I'm excited to share. This is the first chapter where I felt like I didn't even have to read it.
Awesome. I can't wait to hear what you have to share.
That much confidence in being able to talk about this because I've explored it so much in my own life, in my own work. So I'm excited about this one.
Yeah. Well, let's read the commitments.
Before you do that, How are you? We haven't talked much today.
I know. It's been a busy day.
Yeah. Are you doing good?
I'm doing good. I'm doing great.
That's good.
Yeah. I'm doing better than good.
This week is jam-packed of fun and exciting things. So we usually see each other and talk to each other a lot. But right now I'm like, hey, hi, how are you? So let's dive in. What is commitment number 10?
Number 10, exploring the opposite. I commit to seeing that the opposite of my story is as true or truer than my original story. I recognize that I interpret the world around me and give my stories meaning. The below the line commitment is I commit to believing my stories and the meaning I give them as truth. So that's like a not being willing to be wrong.
Yeah. Being right. Got it. Very egoic. Okay.
Yeah.
What does this make you think about when you read that?
Oh my gosh. It makes me think about how we all see the world differently through our own unique filters and lenses based on our experiences in life. Makes me think of situations where two people could be seeing the same movie or listening to the same song and getting completely different meaning from it, deriving different information from it. Also, I think this is the root of how a lot of relationships fail because people are unwilling to see other points of view. They're unwilling to go outside of their story of what they think their reality is or how they've labeled other people or situations and explore that maybe the opposite is true.
Yeah. Or somewhere in between.
Or, there can be just as much truth in the opposite.
Yeah.
What we think.
So, so the first thing that comes to mind when I think about this idea of exploring the opposite is obviously it's like easy to say, oh, I'm going to try to see it from other people's perspective. And I make this joke on a regular basis after understanding how our egos are constructed, after understanding a little bit deeper, the psyche. I actually find it kind of interesting and amazing that two human beings can sit in the same room and not want to kill each other. Because there's just so much uniqueness, which every individual, meaning that every single thing I've ever seen is unique to me. Like each moment happening in front of each and every one of us is 100% unique. Has never happened before, will never happen again. And then you place on top of that how we are these storytelling, meaning making machines. And that's just part of us trying to find a sense of psychological safety, trying to make sense of things, to create patterns for conserving energy, and all these things that are going into play with how and why we create meaning. But what we make something mean is a very basic component of mental and emotional resiliency and mental and emotional toughness, because something can happen to me. Mm-hmm. Something can be happening in the world, whether it be something that's affecting everybody globally or something right here inside my home. Mm-hmm. And I instantly am going to make it mean something. And the meaning I place upon it is really, it goes beyond the story that I'm telling. Like, there's facts, right? There's truth, which is universal principle. There's truth, which is universal principle. There's facts, like what exactly happened. And then we go into story, and then we create meaning. So this meaning is so far removed based upon our perception, our conditioning. And a meaning is an incredible important component when it comes to our ability to create our reality, right? So if I am understanding meaning, then I'm understanding the ability actually how to recreate and rewrite and retell a story in a way that allows for me to receive the meaning that's going to help me to move forward in life. Like, that's the real gold. So what this brings up for me is a universal principle, the law of polarity. The law of polarity clearly states that there's two sides to everything. To every coin, there's a up and a down, there's a right and a left, there's a forward and a back, there's a black and a white. There's two sides to everything. And what I have found is that most truths lie somewhere in the middle. And so not only can this allow for us to say, well, what else can we make this mean? Or what else can be true? The whole Byron Katie work, doing the work, but not only opens our mind to see other people's perspectives, but the law of polarity would say that if I am experiencing fear, on the other side of fear is courage. And these two things are readily available to me in any one point in time. If one is happening, the other one has to exist. I have to be able to create it. I have to be able to experience love while I'm in despair. Like, these two things can be not only available to me, but experienced at the same time. And so I'm able to really take a hard look at, with this realization, this law of polarity was what just busted me wide open. Okay, well then how do I legitimately shift? How do I look at the story and the meaning that I'm placing on this moment? And what story could I tell to take a different meaning that's going to lift me up to be above the line? So rather than looking at this chapter from trying to figure out how to be in a relationship with others, I like to talk about the idea of exploring the opposite when it comes to relationship with ourselves, right? And what I mean by that is, what story am I telling? What meaning am I taking on about myself? And how can I rewrite the story that I'm telling to take on different meaning? Because of the law of polarity, it's a law. Therefore, it is absolutely true. And we have access to both sides of the coin, to be able to see both sides of the coin, be able to access both sides of the coin at any point in time. So we can flip a script on a story.
Yeah, that's powerful.
What's a story that we tell?
Oh, it's hell getting old.
It's hell getting old. Yeah. I feel like with every passing day, my life becomes more beautiful.
Yeah. I was telling someone today.
There was my flip.
Yeah. I was telling somebody today that they said, what do you consider middle age? And I said, probably 40. But 40 to me is like becoming such a beautiful phase of life. And it's really about stepping into something really remarkable in that phase. And so to one person, 40 seems like one thing, and another person, it seems like another. So it's just whatever story you're telling yourself about where you're at in life, your current situation, your age, your health, whatever it is.
Yeah, the meaning you're taking on.
Right.
So And I think it's also a very obvious point to say, like, the meaning we take on about ourselves in the world is what kind of creates how we perceive it and the reality that we're living. So something more tangible, and I use this example all the time. So if you heard this example before, I apologize, but I think it's incredibly, it's like just tangible and real, right? So people in the business world, whether you're a small business owner, entrepreneur, or whatever else, is like, oh, it's so hard to find good work. And are good employees. And I used to tell that story, and I used to believe that story, and I used to make that mean that, oh, I got to do everything myself. And if you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. And so that was the meaning I took on from the story that was being told, that it's hard to find good employees. When I recognized, and I was doing this type of work and was able to turn that around and recognize, hey, that was the meaning of place. Now, here's the question that really opens you up. Paul, thank you for watching. Thank you for the message there. And Heidi is right a lot. I agree.
I like to see it that way.
Yeah. And this is where Byron Katie kind of creeps in, right? The Byron Katie work is it 100% true for everybody?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Is it hard to find good employees? Is that true for everybody?
Can you think of any exception to that?
Can I punch and this comes from like Mark Divine's work, Navy SEAL type stuff, right? Can I punch a hole in my thinking? Mm-hmm. If I can punch a hole in it and it's not 100% true, then it's a story that I'm telling myself. Mm-hmm. And because if I can look around the world and I can find evidence of somebody out there who has great employees and they've been with them for a long time and they're super loyal, then they found them. Mm-hmm. So why is that not true for me? And it's legitimately the meaning I'm taking on that I have to do everything myself. And if I want something done right, I got to do it myself. Mm-hmm. Blah, 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 right? I release that story and say, oh, no, I'm able to delegate. Maybe somebody else is actually better at it than I could be. And which has been more true as we begin to rewrite the meaning in the story, that we find all the right employees at the right time, and that somebody else is better at selling for the painting company than I am. All of these things become true because I'm taking a different meaning and a different story, and I'm legitimately flipping it around to see how else can it be true. Mm-hmm. Right? Because if it's not law, I don't want to be in alignment with it. If it's just story, it's just story, and I don't really care to tell a story that's not going to either support my growth, my healing, your growth, your healing, or anybody around us that we care about, right? And so
the interesting thing about stories is they are a self-fulfilling prophecy. Mm-hmm. So if, like, let's give the example of somebody who's single, right? And you're telling yourself a story that there's no good men out there, there's no good women out there, and so of course, what you're going to find are the flaws and the faults in every single person that you come across. Mm-hmm. You're not looking for the good. You're looking for proof that the story that you're telling yourself is true. Yeah. So whatever it is that we choose to believe in terms of stories that we tell ourselves, we're going to find evidence. We're going to find proof that that's true. So it's something to be aware of, but also cautious about.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And then looking at the opposite, what if there were good partners out there? What would that look like? Yeah. What kind of qualities could that person have? And how could I begin to program my mind to start to find those good qualities in other people? Because that's the path to getting what you want in life, not focusing on that.
And sometimes exploring the opposite too. And you're talking about like being able to see how my life is being fulfilled and based upon my story, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes, when you talk about exploring the opposite, that may create a ton of resistance and may not actually be feasible. Mm-hmm. So when we talk about flipping the script or changing the story with somebody, flipping the script is a term that we use within our coaching program with an integrated mindset. So that's where that comes from. Is legitimately we take a 3x5 note card and we write down our current story on one side and we flip it over and we say, and we pay attention to what it is we're experiencing internally. And then we flip it over and we write a story that is maybe just as believable, but maybe feels out of my reach, right? So it may not be the exact opposite. Mm-hmm. Always, it can be somewhere kind of like on the path towards a story that's going to help to serve me
or
in a
maybe
greater capacity.
a little bit more neutral.
A little bit more neutral.
Right. So not, I hate my body to, I love my body and I'm gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
It might just be, I have a body and my body takes care of keeping me alive. We are all leaders. If you're ready to stop waiting and start impacting your environment in a powerful way, we want to connect with you. Click the Book Now link in the show notes to book a call with a Heart First coach and discover what Heart First leadership can look like in your life and in your environment. Now back to the show.
And I mean, what the number one piece is number one is releasing the attachment and the identification we have to being right, like you said, right? This is coming back in and taking responsibility and legitimately showing compassion for the part of you that needs to be right. This desire to be right. This is coming from a place of lack. If you feel like you have to be right in a current circumstance or scenario, and then be able to open yourself up to curiosity. Like, I wonder what else. And I always sit back when I have this conversation. I wonder what else could be true or more true.
Right.
I wonder what other story or meaning I can place on this circumstance or this situation on my life that would better serve me. So an eye gaze goes up. And again, this is like allowing for your whole brain to communicate. This is allowing for you to take yourself out of your story, which when we believe our story, we're hard to convince otherwise. You know, the world's going to whatever it is. Employees are hard to, is hell getting, right? I could not even have, I don't even have to finish the sentence. Bad things happen in, right? I mean, I don't have to finish the sentence. People probably are thinking, oh, bad things happen in threes. It's hell getting old, right? The world's going to blank. Right? Whatever it is. Sure. I mean, these different stories that are being told. When we're in our story, our perception narrows. We believe it. We then get in conversations with others, and I tell my story and you agree with my story and you tell me a story that affirms my story. Yeah, now did we just become best friends? Right? Rather than being able to recognize when we're in story and say, yeah, okay, that's the facts. That's truth. Now open ourselves up and say, I wonder what other story could be possibly here that is more true. Right.
Or that's just simply serves you better.
Simply serves you better.
Right.
Sure.
That helps you to have the experience of life that you want to have. Because if you're living in stories that are fear-based, if you're living in stories that are coming from a place of lack, that is not going to create the experience of life that you want. And sometimes I think our minds will sort of attach to these negative stories as a way to kind of think that it's protecting us.
Conserve energy.
And also to conserve energy, right? Because we can create these rigid patterns of thinking where literally it's like our brain can't find another alternate idea. One of the examples that I'm thinking of is Martha Beck. In one of her books, she talks about having a coaching client. She's Oprah's life coach. She's sitting in front of this client, male client, and he says, you know, my belief is that all women need me to take care of them. Everyone needs me to take care of them. And she's looking at him and she says, can you think of any exception? Any exception to that idea? And he's like looking up and kind of looking around and in his mental space. And he's like, no, I can't. And she's going, hello, I'm sitting right in front of you. I don't need you to take care of me. So sometimes we can get really rigid in our thinking in that way. And we need to have somebody else help us to find a new perspective or find a better story that's going to serve us in a more positive way. But I think asking yourself those open-ended questions, like, I wonder what else is possible, what could be true or even truer than what I'm currently believing, and then opening up your mind to that possibility is a great place to start.
Well, you allow for yourself to span horizons and see a timeline of life, see other people's perspectives, and allows for you to live a more integrated mindset.
Yeah.
I didn't mean for that to happen. I dropped the integrated mindset piece. One of the things that we have studied quite robust is the placebo effect. Dr. Joe Dispenza has a book I highly recommend. It's called The Placebo.
It's called
You Are the Placebo. You Are the Placebo. And if you want your mind to just like go, right?
Yeah, if you want your mind blown open.
If you want your mind blown open, You Are the Placebo. It's a fantastic book to just, and it's a great audio book as well. So 3 things are factors in placebo, in our ability, basically, if you don't know what placebo is, let's just fundamentally give a very simple introduction to what it is. Like when they do these double-blind tests where they're trying to figure out if a certain drug is going to help to heal somebody, right? So they give people a salt pill, a sugar pill,
yeah. Just
right?
something that doesn't have any effects.
That has no effects. They give group B the actual drug, and then they're able to see, like, is it somebody who, and it's crazy to see the numbers of people who actually still are healed, who are getting sugar in a pill that has no positive impact in their life whatsoever, but they think that they're being healed. They think that they're taking a drug that's going to heal them. They think that this is going to work. So 3 things go into you being the placebo of your life: your past conditioning, the expectations that you have of what you think is going to happen, right? And then the meaning that you place on things.
Yeah.
Now, what's interesting about this is these 3 things are completely interlinked, right? The meaning we place on things creates our expectations. Our expectations create our reality, right? What we then look for, we find. What we focus on, we find. Where our attention goes, energy flows. So then we end up unconsciously creating that result, right? Which therefore then continues to create our conditioning. Yeah. Right. So you want to rewire yourself to being able to be conditioning your body to a new experience. You want to condition your body to a new experience. So then therefore you have different experiences going forward in the future rather than just reliving a predictable past, right? You have to be able to be greater than your body, greater than time, and greater than your environment. And how you do that is placing different meaning on things than other people around you. Somebody around you has a certain meaning they take on in your environment. You can't allow for yourself to be influenced by how everybody else thinks in your environment, right? You can't allow for yourself to think the way that you feel. You have to think greater than you feel, and you have to think in a way and take on meaning in a way that allows for yourself to experience what you want to experience later, now. And that's how you're greater than time. So you can be greater than your body, greater than your environment, and greater than time. This will then allow for you to start to rewire the narratives and the stories and the meaning you're taking on about yourself and the world, which will then create different expectations. Your attention will go to a different possible outcome. You will then see different things in people and in circumstances. Opportunity will arise rather than struggle and obstacle in whatever circumstance you're in, right? Which will then create a different conditioning. You will then be conditioning your body to a new experience, right? And this is a circular thing that happens. Everything has some sort of circular aspect to it where we can become the placebo of our own lives. You want to call it manifestation. You want to be able to heal yourself. You want to transform your mind, your body, your spirit, your relationships, whatever it is. I don't really care. It's all interconnected, right? It's all one thing. Yes, potentially you'll make more money. Yes, you'll attract the spouse or the environment or the circumstance or the opportunity. Sure, great, good on you. But it's about what you experience internally, subjectively, about your objective self in the world.
Yeah.
Right.
And obstacle will still happen in life. Resistance will still show up, but you won't place the same meaning on those events. They'll become more neutral, or even better yet, you'll learn to start to find the gift in the struggle, in the obstacle, in the resistance that shows up for you because you've changed your perspective and you have flip the script, so to say, on the story that you're telling yourself about what all of this means, all of this stuff that's happening in life, because life will still continue to happen.
Yes.
There will still be death. There will still be illness. There will still be things that happen in life that are difficult, but you will handle those things in a different way because you're coming from a different place.
Yeah. Well, again, so one of the things that we help to do is to uncover this illusion of the mind of what you're just talking about is how we identify with failure, right? Mm-hmm. And when you really get really clear of what is failure, we all fear this thing that we've all created in our minds. Well, I don't want to fail. I'm afraid of failing. If I fail, then I'm get rejected. And I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. I'm not adequate. I'm not lovable, whatever it is, right? And when you're able to unpack and recognize that failure does not exist in nature, you show me where in nature the universe is failing, right? That everything is just a mechanism of growth, right? So then therefore, when something does hit you, like you're saying, we're taking on different meaning, we have different expectations, we're conditioning our body to a new experience, and some sort of obstacle shows up. We're not looking at that as some sort of failure. We recognize that, we then now have to go back inward, and we have to recognize that the version of myself I am and I have been wasn't evolved enough to be able to avoid this circumstance. So here it is in front of me, and with a complete acceptance. Now, how can I learn and grow from this? How can I help? How can I contribute? Recognizing that everything that is there is a way for us to evolve and us to grow. There is no failure. Failure is this idea or concept that we have in our mind that we use to be able to help to source our own sense of being okay. Right? If I can avoid failure, now I can avoid my stuff getting hit that feels like I'm not enough.
I was just having this thought while you were sharing that about a little bit about the law of polarity, but also we have this idea as human beings that there's like a beginning, a middle, and an end to everything. But really what you're saying is, if you can get yourself to that space of being in a place of total allowance and acceptance of whatever's happening, then you start to recognize, this is going to sound really deep. So I was like, okay, I'm liking this. You start to recognize that the end is also the beginning, and the beginning is also the end in everything. Because in order to become a new version of ourselves, in order to step into our full potential, we have to die of the old. So, right, the price of the new life is the old one. And with every season of something coming to a close is the beginning of something new. If we take that analogy of looking at nature, when something dies in nature, it becomes the nutrients for the soil for the next evolution of whatever's happening there. So I think we need to think about how we're looking at life in the context of this really basic, simplistic way of seeing things as humans, as like beginning, middle, and end, and actually flip that to say the end is also the beginning and the beginning is also the end. And if we can be in acceptance of that, then we can be more comfortable with whatever experience we're having.
Yeah, I agree.
So just sharing a thought.
I'm gonna hold myself back. I'm gonna pull my reins back from going too much.
Yeah, because this conversation could continue. Well, one of the things I was excited about what you were just saying, it brings us to the next commitment that we're going to be covering next week, which is sourcing approval, control, and security. So learning how to be the source of your own approval, control, and security. And that's really what we're all after. That's why we tell ourselves these stories in ways that we're trying to protect ourselves, or we're trying to conserve energy, we're trying to seek something and avoid something else, and all of these ways that we behave as human beings. It's part of the human experience, but it is all for that. It's for that sense of safety, that sense of approval, control, and security. And I'm really excited to have that conversation with you next week as well.
It's important to learn how to be able to meet your own sense of being okay.
Yeah.
rather than sourcing that outside of yourself. Come back inward and being able to meet your own needs. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Any closing thoughts or ideas or takeaways from today? Actions for anybody. One thing I would say before you answer that is just when you really look at it from the totality of life, right? I mean, I'm 45 years old and I feel like I know nothing.
Mm-hmm.
on the large scale of what's really out there and what really life is all about and what we're really supposed to be doing here. I mean, I think I know. I have concepts, I have ideas, I have inklings, but I don't know anything.
Mm-hmm.
And the more that I learn, the more I realize I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And yet a version of me, say 15 years ago, at 30 years old, thought I knew a lot. And I really thought I had life figured out, right? And we just don't know what we don't know. So come back to a place of humility. You just never know what somebody else's life has entailed. You have no idea what somebody else is thinking. You have no idea what else can potentially be true. And I'm asking you, begging you, is to question your stories,
Mm-hmm.
question your beliefs, challenge them. Like, do not come to a place where you think you know. The second you think you know, you're dead. Like inside.
Yeah.
You are dying inside if you think you know. Oh, I have, and even if it's you real strong faith, real strong belief, good on you. But still question it, deepen it, explore.
Yeah, because there's growth in that for you. There's different experiences in that.
I can't remember the exact quote, but I was listening to a book earlier today, and it was something along those terms. Like the man who, or that was yesterday. It was an interview. It was Power of Myth interview with Joseph Campbell. The man who thinks he knows doesn't understand life and is dying. The man who acknowledges he doesn't know is fully alive and exploring, right? And is experiencing life in its totality. And I completely just botched that, but it's something along those terms. And whenever I can look back on my life and I thought I had things pretty well figured out, I can recognize that like it was only a matter of time until that thinking of how I thought things was going to be challenged, and really to relentlessly keep myself in a place of recognizing I don't know. And just a sense of humility means that there's more to learn. There's always more to learn. And there's so many aspects of life, and there's things that are beyond our ability even to, that transcends our experience as humans, right?
Yeah.
To such a level that it's like, we should just make an incredible agreement with ourselves that we don't know.
Yeah.
That we just don't know, and we really don't know what
the only thing we know is that we don't know.
Yeah. And we really know that we don't know what we don't know.
Yeah.
And so to come back and, even if life's really working for you, good job. But my point is to
like you said, it's a matter of time before whatever you think you know is challenged. That is life. It's a growth cycle.
If you think you know, I'm just telling you, you will be humbled.
Mm-hmm. And I've seen that in my own life over and over again.
It creates suffering when you think you know, because that story is going to get challenged, right? And so I would just urge all of us, and me included, right, to stay in a place of very open curiosity, of a place of humility, to say there's always more to learn. I don't know what I don't know, so I'm going to explore. I'm going to allow for myself to continue to explore, because when I do, then I'll be able to receive. Then I'll be able to see and see other possibilities, and allow for my mind to communicate in ways that otherwise wouldn't, and that's what's going to allow for me to create incredible connection, not only to myself, to my significant other, to my children, to my families, to whatever, to community, but to a higher power as well. And that connection is the greatest thing in the world. That's what we're really after, is connection, right? A lot of times we tell stories and affirm stories with each other because, we're telling the same story.
Yeah. You guys, do you remember when we were going through COVID? everybody wanted to talk about it. It was like this unifying thing to talk about. But some of the stories that we were telling as a society weren't really helping. We're really helping the situation. So yeah, I think get curious about what you think you know, who you think you are. I'm always curious about who the heck I think I am, and trying to have that beginner's mind of looking at, looking at anything with new eyes, looking at your partner like you're seeing them for the first time, looking at your kids like they just came on the scene. Remember when you held those kids for the first time? It was like this new, beautiful experience. We can continue to have these open, wondrous experiences of life when we are curious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To open up to that place of wonder. Anyway, my mind just went someplace else.
I know we could keep talking. I feel like because we haven't talked a lot the last couple of days, we could probably just keep talking. And so we want to keep this to time. But next week we're going to be talking about.
I'm going to say one more. I'm going to say one more thing. You can take that question to the depths. The who am I question, because here is the thing. We are our attachment to stories, to our identity, to material things, our identification with things, and how we attach and grasp to them. That's what creates a level of suffering and keeps us from a new experience. So if you want a new experience, if you want something that's different and that is more expansive and open and whatever that looks like for you, then we have to be willing to no longer attach. We have to let go, right? And it starts with the stories that we're telling, right? We have to be able to question those. Yeah.
Oh gosh, there's so much more
two
we could
sides
talk about.
Well, you remember the conversation I had with you last night right before you fell asleep? Where you were
maybe I was
in the middle of the conversation, she started snoring. So that's why I'm asking you. I guarantee you. I'm like, I must have really held your attention there. She started snoring as I'm like, because I was talking about polarity. I was thinking about this topic, and I was thinking about some of the things I heard that Joseph Campbell talked about in The Power of Myth. And I was thinking like how everything creates an equal and opposite, right? So every action that we take, everything that we think, everything that we are experiencing, there's some sort of you give it some sort of you want to give it labels, positive and negative, good and bad, right? Aspect to everything that we do, everything, right? And so our ability to like span back to 10,000 feet and look and see all sides as well as we can is a practice of allowing our awareness to open, to span the horizons, and it creates a different vantage point or plateau where we're able to see life from a different place and see new opportunities and new experiences in new ways, right? So
it reminds me of this graphic right here in the book. It says one point of view is too small for the whole truth. Let me see if people can see that. Yeah. Right. So they have the truth,
the word truth,
trying to fit in these small little boxes, and one point of view is too small for the whole truth. Yeah.
So that's my last takeaway. Plus, I have to go. So we'll see you next week. Next week is what?
We're going to be
sourcing,
talking about
approval, control, and security.
Yeah.
Awesome. We're beyond to commitment number 11. So yeah, and just so you know, we are starting new groups in April. I'm running a men's group. Heidi's running a women's group. She's going to be starting the second week in April. I'm also looking to fill up a group. So if you're interested in going deeper and really embracing the content and the progression that we've created in this 10-week integrated mindset course, it is transformational. People are just busting wide open.
Yeah.
And having incredible realizations and transformations. And this content is to put it together truly in an incredible progression and order that allows for people to completely shift their lives if you're ready. So if you're ready, we're ready.
Yeah. Reach out.
Thank you, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for your time and attention.
We'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening. Remember,
Leaders go first. Alignment matters. And the environment that you create is the legacy you'll leave. We'll see you on the next episode.